On my 50th birthday, my son said they had a surprise. I thought it might be a slideshow. Instead, they played a video so cruel, narrated by my ex-wife, that by the end, I wasn't a father anymore. At least, not to them. What happened next changed everything. They had compiled a 20-minute video titled, "The Tragedy of Martin Reyes, a Legacy of Failure." The narration? Provided by my ex-wife, Carla. Her voice filled the room like poison in a glass of champagne. He failed as a husband, failed as a father, and failed as a man, she declared, as images of my lowest moments flashed across the screen. My old rust bucket of a car, the rain-soaked camping trip, the deck I never finished because I was working 60-hour weeks just to keep the lights on. And then it got worse. She spoke with sickening detail about our personal life, things no one should ever share, let alone at a birthday party. She talked about how I couldn't satisfy her needs, how she faked it for years. And the crowd, they laughed. Some awkwardly, some loudly, but no one stopped it. The climax? My sons, Sebastian, 30, Leo, 27, and Jonah, 24, stood together and announced that they were legally changing their last names to hers, Garza. The message was clear. I wasn't just a disappointment. I was disposable. Sebastian looked me in the eye and said, "We'd rather have no father than one who never showed up when it counted." That sentence will echo in my head for the rest of my life. I didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't flip the table or curse the sky. I stood up. I thanked them for coming, and I walked out. No one followed. It's 5 a.m. right now. I'm sitting in my kitchen, staring at the same cold cup of coffee I've reheated 3 times, and my phone won't stop buzzing. Calls, texts, DMs, even Facebook messages from people I haven't heard from in years. All of them lighting up my screen like it's Christmas morning. I haven't answered any of them. You see, I'm not really a tech guy. My oldest son, Sebastian, set up this Reddit account for me years ago, said it had helped me stay connected, whatever that meant. I barely use it, but today I needed somewhere to put all this, somewhere to breathe, because right now, I honestly don't know what to do with myself. I turned 50 last week. Half a century. 5 decades of keeping my head down, paying my bills, doing what was right. I've never made a big deal about birthdays before, but this one felt like something. Like maybe, just maybe it was worth celebrating. For context, I've been divorced from Carla for 8 years. 19 years of marriage, gone in a whisper because, according to her, I wasn't exciting anymore. Whatever. That's old news. Water under a very bitter bridge. We had 3 boys together. Sebastian is 30 now. Leo's 27. Jonah just turned 24. During the divorce, they took her side. It's not that I blame them. They were teenagers. She was always the fun parent, the one who said yes. I was the one saying no to a 3rd pair of sneakers or laying down curfews when they'd sneak out at night. Still, I tried. I really did. Birthday texts, Christmas cards, the occasional lunch that always felt like a performance review. Like I was interviewing for the role of dad all over again and failing every time. So when Sebastian called 3 weeks ago, out of the blue, saying they wanted to throw me a surprise birthday party, I felt something shift. For a moment, I let myself believe it, that maybe they were finally ready to mend things, that they wanted me back in their lives, not as a backup plan, not as a walking wallet, but as their father. Stupid me. I even went out and bought a new shirt. The party was held at this local taproom that Leo's friend manages. Around 30 people showed up, some neighbors I hadn't seen in years, a few cousins, co-workers, even Carla was there. That should have been the first red flag, but I chalked it up to her being civil for the boys' sake. For the first hour, I was actually enjoying myself. The food was good. I had a couple of decent beers. People seemed genuinely happy to see me. I kept thinking, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they do care. But here's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't hit you like a fist. It sinks in slowly, like you've just realized the ground you've been standing on your whole life was never solid. Just soft, silent quicksand. And when it pulls you under, no one reaches in to save you. It was around 8 p.m. when Sebastian tapped his glass with a fork. The room quieted. I remember thinking, this is it. They probably put together a slideshow, maybe some baby photos, old family trips, cheesy captions. You know, the kind of heartfelt montage people play at milestone birthdays. But instead, they wheeled out a portable projector. The lights dimmed. Someone pulled down a screen. And that's when I felt the first shift in my chest. Like something wasn't quite right. The title flashed onto the screen in bold white letters. The Failures of Martin Reyes, a Lifetime of Disappointment. I remember blinking. Once. Twice. Trying to process what I was seeing. Then her voice. Carla's voice. Smooth, cold, rehearsed. Narrating every painful frame like she was doing a true crime documentary. Martin Reyes, failed husband, failed father, failed man. They showed photos of every mistake I'd ever made. The beat-up car I bought that died after 3 months. The camping trip I tried to plan, where it rained for 3 days straight and we ended up in a motel. The deck I never finished building because I was working 6 days a week. They even dug up that email from when I didn't get the promotion I'd worked myself to the bone for. They put it all in. Every shortcoming, every embarrassment, framed as proof that I was a failure. But they didn't stop there. Carla went on to describe our private life in brutal, humiliating detail. Talked about how I could never satisfy her. How she faked her way through our marriage. Years of intimacy mocked in front of coworkers, friends, and cousins. Her words felt like blades. And the laughter, that laughter will never leave me. Some people chuckled uncomfortably. Others outright laughed. And I just sat there. The final scene was the real gut punch. All 3 of my sons, Sebastian, Leo, and Jonah, stood in front of the screen, reading from some carefully scripted speech. They said they were filing the paperwork to legally change their last names to Carla's maiden name. Garza. Sebastian looked directly at me and said, "We'd rather have no father than one who never showed up when it mattered." I wish I could tell you I stormed out, threw a glass, said something cutting, and walked away with dignity. But I didn't. I sat there, frozen in my chair. The room split in half, some guests looking down at their plates in shame, others exchanging nervous glances, unsure whether to clap or cringe. I could feel all their eyes on me, waiting to see what I'd do, waiting for a scene. But I've never been that guy. I stood up slowly, looked at the people who'd once called me friend, co-worker, family, and I said, "Thank you all for coming." Then I walked out, got in my car, drove home, sat in the dark of my living room for hours, just staring at the wall. I didn't even take my shoes off. Sunlight was pouring in through the windows before I moved. That was Saturday night. It's now Thursday morning. Since Monday, my phone has been vibrating nonstop. Calls, texts, notifications popping up from people I hadn't heard from in weeks. Carla, the boys, even Erica, Sebastian's wife, called, pretending to be worried about me. But I know what this is really about. They need my signature. That's why my phone won't stay quiet. They went through with the name change paperwork, and now, legally, they can't finish it without my consent. That's what all this sudden interest in my mental state is about. Not guilt, not regret, just paperwork. Frankly, I haven't replied to a single message. Erica left me a voicemail yesterday, her voice syrupy sweet. "Martin, we're all just worried about how you're processing everything." I could practically hear the desperation behind her concern. And beneath that, the real reason she was calling. "Please sign the papers so we can move on." Then Leo chimed in. Left me a message calling me childish. "This is immature, Dad. Just sign the forms and stop making this harder than it needs to be." Immature? This from the same kid who rang my phone at 2 a.m. last year, whispering in a panic because he owed money to the wrong people after another poker binge. I didn't scold him. I didn't ask why or how much. I just transferred the money within the hour. And now he's calling me childish? Maybe they're right. Maybe I wasn't the world's greatest father. I wasn't perfect. I missed a few games, worked too many late nights, forgot a birthday once or twice. But I never walked away, never gave up. Every doctor visit, they never saw the bill. Every scraped knee, every class trip, every broken phone, I paid for it all. I paid for their comfort while juggling 2 jobs. I even helped Sebastian with the down payment on his house when Carla claimed she couldn't swing it. I've been paying Jonah's tuition for the last 3 years, despite the divorce papers saying I had no obligation past his 21st birthday. Every time they needed something, I was there, with my wallet open and my mouth shut. But none of that matters, apparently. Not to them. So here I am, 50 years old, sitting in a quiet house that feels more like a museum of mistakes. A place where my efforts were invisible, my sacrifices chalked up as failures. For 8 years, I've swallowed every insult, every slight. I kept trying to patch holes in relationships they were actively tearing apart. Why? Because I believed, deep down, that maybe one day they'd see the truth. That maybe love was louder than bitterness. But I was wrong. My old friend Victor thinks I should sign the damn forms and be done with them. My cousin thinks I should sit down and talk it out, figure out where all this venom really came from. But the truth is, I am tired. Tired of being the one who bends. Tired of being the man who always finds a way to forgive the unforgivable. Tired of being the emotional punching bag for people who only see me as a disappointment. Carla made a joke once, years ago, about how boring I was. That all I did was go to work and pay bills. And maybe that's true, but I did it all for them. And now they want to erase the last piece of me they're still connected to, my name. Well, maybe it's time I erase them too. It's been nearly 3 weeks since the night that blew my life wide open. I wasn't sitting around crying into my cereal or pacing the house in a bathrobe, if that's what you're thinking. I went dark for a while, turned off my phone, took a few days off work, shut the blinds, and just sat with it. I needed time to think, to breathe, to figure out who I even was anymore. I'm not a dramatic guy. Never have been. Carly used to say that's why she left. Called me predictable, boring, too quiet. Said I was more of a routine than a person. I guess I believed her. For years, I let that comment echo in the back of my mind like it was gospel. But here's what I didn't tell you in my first post. Despite all the lectures they gave me about how I'd let them down, how I was the root of all their unhappiness, my sons have been leaning on me financially for years. Not just once or twice. Constantly. Quietly. And in ways even their mother doesn't know about. Sebastian, the golden child, the one who organized that humiliating slideshow at my party, hasn't actually been making full mortgage payments on his overpriced suburban house. For 3 years now, I've been silently wiring him $1,200 a month just so he and Erica could keep their shiny countertops and 3-car garage. Carla thinks I only helped with the down payment. She has no idea I've been funding the illusion ever since. Leo's got a gambling problem. Not just a few bad hands here and there, real debt. Online poker, sports betting, fantasy leagues, he's deep. I've bailed him out 4 times in the past 2 years. The last time, it was $8,000. $8,000, just gone. No questions asked. He told me, "You're the only one I can come to." And I gave it to him. Because that's what dads do, right? Jonah, my youngest, he's been in college. And even though Carla was supposed to handle tuition under the divorce agreement, she suddenly couldn't make it work. So guess who picked up the slack? I didn't just pay for his classes. I covered his rent, his groceries, his textbooks, everything. Every one of them leaned on me when it suited them. And now they want to wipe my name from their lives like I was some stain they couldn't scrub out. So I finally picked up the phone, started answering their messages. I played the role they expected, fragile, confused, broken old man trying to make peace. My voice shook. I used all the right phrases. I just want to understand what I did wrong. I still love you boys. Maybe we can fix this. They bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. I suggested we meet for dinner. Just the 5 of us. A family night. A chance to talk things through. Find some kind of closure. They jumped at it. Sebastian even picked the place, a fancy Italian restaurant near his house. One of those places with cloth napkins and overpriced water. Probably figured I'd pick up the check, like always. So I did what any good father would do. I showed up looking like hell. Wrinkled shirt, unshaven, sad sack expression plastered on my face. Played the part to perfection. Carla kept glancing at me like I was a stray dog she'd run into outside a grocery store. The boys took turns explaining why they did what they did. Said it was necessary. Said it was tough love. Leo even had the nerve to tell me he was proud of me for finally accepting responsibility, for agreeing to sign the name change forms. They actually believed I was broken, that I was grateful for their cruelty, that I'd show up, smile through the humiliation, and give them what they wanted. One last signature, so they could be rid of me forever. So I did what they asked. Right there at the table, I signed the forms. Told them I understood. Apologized for being such a disappointment. Told them they deserve better. They smiled, laughed, and I picked up the check. But the second I got home, everything changed. The second I walked through my front door that night, I headed straight to my desk, opened my laptop, and logged into my banking app. No hesitation. No second guessing. Just silence and precision. Step 1. I canceled the automatic transfers I'd been sending to Sebastian's account. The $1,200 lifeline I'd been quietly providing every month? Gone. Instantly. Step 2. I emailed the bank and placed a stop payment on the tuition check I'd written for Jonah's semester. That check hadn't been cashed yet. Timing's a funny thing. One click, and it was just another piece of paper. Step 3. I blocked Leo's number. Completely. Texts, calls, everything. The next time his gambling debts catch up with him. And they will. He'll be solving that problem without me. And then, I got petty. Not angry. Not explosive. Just cold and clear. I went back through my inbox and found every message Leo ever sent me asking for money. Screenshots of betting receipts. Venmo transfers labeled poker debt. Emergency, please don't tell mom. I collected it all, painstakingly organized it into a folder. Then I created a new email account and sent the entire thing to his fiancée, Malia. Subject line, what your fiancé isn't telling you. 3 days passed before the fallout hit. And when it did, it was glorious. Sebastian was the first to crack. He called me 13 times in one day. His mortgage payment bounced. The bank sent him a notice. His voice on the voicemail was pure panic, like a man watching the walls close in. Apparently, Erica is losing her mind. They're supposed to be hosting her family reunion next month. And now, there's talk they might lose the house. Funny how that granite countertop doesn't help when you're short on the mortgage. Not my problem anymore. Then came Jonah. He got an email from his university. Unpaid tuition, outstanding balance, enrollment on hold. He texted me all day. Guilt trips, angry messages, even a few veiled threats. One said, "You're ruining my future." No, Keith. You did that the moment you stood in front of all those people and helped humiliate the one man who's been quietly paying your way for 3 years. Actions meet consequences. But Leo's mess was nuclear. Malia came to my house. In person, tears in her eyes, phone in hand, showed me every screenshot I'd sent. Her hands were shaking. She asked, "Are these real?" I just nodded. Didn't speak. Didn't need to. She left him that night. Called off the engagement. Moved back in with her parents. Changed her relationship status to single and posted a quote about trusting your gut with a row of red flag emojis. Subtle. Leo, of course, imploded. Left me a voicemail at 2 a.m., drunk, sobbing, and furious. Called me every name in the book. Told me I betrayed his trust. Said I ruined his life. The irony of that was almost too much to bear. And Carla? She's been blowing up my phone like it's her full-time job. Text after text. Paragraphs about how the boys are in crisis, how I need to step up and help, how I'm tearing this family apart. Tearing it apart? She narrated a 16-minute documentary on why I was a worthless human being in front of coworkers, friends, and extended family. But I'm the problem? She actually wrote, and I quote, "You need to stop being petty and think of the family." The gall of this woman. And here's the part one didn't expect. I don't feel bad. Not 1 ounce of guilt. For 8 years, I've been over backwards to maintain peace. I gave until there was nothing left. I stayed quiet when they mocked me. Wrote checks when they needed saving. Showed up when they forgot I existed. They thought they could destroy me in public and still keep me in private as their backup plan. But they were wrong. I'm not just done helping. I'm done being their foundation. They thought I was a doormat, but I'm not. I'm the floor. And I just pulled it out from underneath them. It's been a month since I lit the fuse. The dust still hasn't settled. I didn't expect the last post to explode the way it did. Thousands of comments, messages, DMs from total strangers offering advice, encouragement. Even a few people helping me figure out how to use Reddit without crashing my fossil of a phone. Some folks said I went too far, that I should have taken the high road. Maybe they're right. But I've learned something about the high road. It's just a better view for people to spit on you from above. And I'm done being their target. Sebastian's situation? Worse than I thought. Turns out they were already behind on payments before I pulled the plug. They've been using my money to patch the cracks and pretend they were living the dream. When that check stopped coming, the whole illusion crumbled. He showed up at my front door last week, unannounced, with bags under his eyes and desperation painted across his face. Said Erica was on medication now. Said the stress was unbearable. Like somehow I was the villain for stepping back. I didn't let him in. Now, he's spiraling. Malia's gone for good. She changed her Facebook profile, blocked him everywhere, moved in with her sister, and left a very cryptic post that might as well have been a full-blown expose. He's couch surfing now, drunk texting me at 3 a.m., saying I'm a pathetic old man who'll die alone. This from a guy who lost $25,000 betting on fantasy football. Ironic. Jonah's academic probation kicked in last week. He couldn't register for classes with that outstanding balance hanging over his head. And get this, he actually tried to get me fired. Email my boss. Some rambling message about how I was mentally unwell and neglecting family duties. My boss has known me for 15 years. She printed the email and slid it across my desk with just one word written in pen. Yikes. Carla has entered full crisis PR mode. She's been spinning tales to extended family, mutual friends, anyone who'll listen, telling them I'm having a mental breakdown, that I'm lashing out in a late life spiral. Classic Carla. If she can't control you, she tries to control the story people hear about you. I started getting sympathetic texts from relatives, people asking if I'm okay, if I'm taking medication. One had offered to pray for me. I didn't respond because I had something bigger planned. Phase 2. I sent the family a group text last Sunday. So I wanted to talk, clear the air, make peace. Told them to come by my house on Saturday at noon. Said I'd order food. They jumped at it. All of them. The idea of reconciliation dangled in front of them like a carrot. And they bit hard. Saturday came. I spent the morning cleaning, not because I cared what they thought of my house, but because it helped settle my mind. I even put fresh sheets on the guest bed out of old habit. I ordered Chinese from that place off the highway. The good stuff. All their favorites. Sebastian's beef and broccoli. Leo's General Tso's. Jonah's crab rangoon. Even Carla's precious hot and sour soup. It cost me nearly $100 with tip. Worth every penny. They arrived right on time. Except Carla, who showed up 20 minutes early, probably hoping for a private moment to soften me up. Didn't work. They all looked rough. Sebastian's eyes were sunken in. Leo hadn't shaved. Jonah looked like he dropped 10 pounds. Carla was still put together, as always, but the tightness in her smile gave her away. They made small talk, waited for me to bring up money. I didn't. Instead, once we were all seated and eating, I said I had a presentation of my own. The color drained from their faces. I hooked my laptop up to the TV with the old HDMI cable that never works on the first try. This time it did. Then I hit play. It was their video, the birthday hit piece. The full 16 minutes and 22 seconds of humiliation. Carla's voice slicing through the room. The audience laughing. My sons nodding with smug pride as they announced my name. No one spoke. When it ended, I turned on the lights and handed each of them a manila folder. One for each of them. Old school. I wanted them to feel the weight of it. Sebastian's folder contained a complete record of every mortgage payment I'd made. $43, $200. Along with a letter stating I wasn't seeking repayment, but I would never give him another cent. Leo's folder was worse. Printouts of every gambling transaction I'd ever bailed him out from. Screenshots of betting apps, panicked text messages. At the end, a confirmation he'd been signed up for a free gambling rehab program. His choice whether to show up. Jonah's folder had his tuition receipts. I paid off the balance for this semester. One final gift. And my last. Carla's folder was quiet. Inside were photos. Her and the CrossFit instructor. Time-stamped, dated, long before the divorce. Photos I never used. Never showed anyone. Until now. Then I pulled out one last document. Placed it on the table. My own name change paperwork. Effective immediately, I dropped the Reyes name and taken my mother's maiden name instead. I looked at all of them and said, "Yeah, you didn't want my name? Now you don't have it." The room was dead silent. You could have heard a spoon hit the floor. They sat there, staring at the documents like they were holding evidence from a crime scene. In a way, they were. Evidence of everything I'd carried in silence. Every dollar, every sacrifice, every betrayal I swallowed so they could keep pretending I was the villain. Sebastian was the first to break the silence. He reached for words but only managed to stutter, "Dad, it was just a joke. Wasn't supposed to." Too late. Leo tried a different route. Said they were trying to wake me up. That the video was meant to motivate me to be better. Like I was some broken machine that needed a hard reset. Jonah, my youngest, he started crying. Big, silent tears rolling down his face. And for a split second, it almost got me. Almost, but not quite. Then Carla leaned in, switched tactics, softened her voice, said we could work through this as a family. That everyone makes mistakes. That maybe we just went too far. She even reached across the table, tried to take my hand. I moved mine away. Calmly, without a hint of anger, I said, "You're welcome to stay. Eat. Finish your food. But our business is done." Then I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and headed for the door. As I stepped outside, Sebastian called out, "Where are you going?" I didn't stop walking. Just answered, "I have a lunch date." And I did. Her name is Audrey. We met in a hiking group for people over 40. She's divorced like me, has 2 grown kids, and unlike mine, they actually call her on her birthday. We've been taking it slow. Coffee turned into dinners. Dinners into trail walks. No pressure. No expectations. Just 2 people trying to remember what respect feels like. When I sat across from her at that cafe later that afternoon, she smiled and said, "You look lighter." And for the first time in years, I think she was right. It's been a full day now since the family meeting. My phone's been oddly quiet. Just one text from Jonah. He asked if we could talk. Privately. No scripts. No group messages. Just us. Maybe I'll say yes. Eventually. He's the youngest. Probably got swept up in the tide his brothers were riding. I don't know if that excuses anything, but it might explain it. As for the others, I'm not holding my breath. Look, I'm not saying I handled everything perfectly. I know cutting off my own sons is going to leave scars. I know some people think I overreacted, that I should have taken the high road, turned the other cheek, kept being the steady, quiet man I've always been. But here's the truth. For 8 years, I was their safety net, their emotional landfill, their wallet. I showed up, even when they didn't want me. I gave, even when they wouldn't say thank you. And when I turned 50, after a lifetime of keeping things together, they used the moment to rip me apart in front of everyone I knew. And now they get to sit with what they've done. With no check in the mail. No tematik dipasit. No boring old dad they can blame for their own mess. Next month, I'm going to Yellowstone. It's been on my list for years. But Carla always said camping was beneath us. Now, there's no one to say no. Just me, a backpack, and a national park full of silence. For my 51st birthday next year, I won't be waiting on a phone call or hoping someone remembers. I'll be celebrating it alone by choice. And something tells me it'll be the best damn birthday I've had in decades. Epilogue. Some endings are new beginnings. I don't know what kind of father I was. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I gave too late or not in the ways they needed. But I do know this. I never walked away. Not until they left me no choice. There's a strange peace that comes with letting go. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. A peace that whispers, you mattered, even if they couldn't see it. I've stopped waiting for the apology that will never come. Stopped hoping for the version of my family that only existed in my heart. Now, I'm building something new with the time I have left. Something quiet. Something whole. Something that doesn't ask me to shrink. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of man I was always meant to be. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more real-life family dramas. Let me know in the comments what you think about today's story. Was it fair or totally messed up? See you in next one.